As a judge for 34 years, I was basically the homicide, domestic violence, rape judge. I also did civil license and inspection, contracts, jury trials on the civil side, and I was the supervising judge for the Philadelphia Municipal Court from the period of basically 1997 till 2004. So, taking that in mind, I've written programs on how to alleviate gun violence. It's called A Pathway to Reduce Gun Violence. And basically, it's based on what's known as the Local Incident Management System, LIMS, modeled after a little bit the National Incident System, whereas it's a uniform set of policies and procedures that allows the city government to enable the necessary responders to more efficiently and effectively combat the root causes of gun violence.
Are you modeling this after your own tenure in court and how you would approach homicide cases? And did you find that there was a lower rate of recidivism when you implemented these rulings?
Yes. And back there when I was the supervising judge, when we were able to reduce because gun violence was higher before I became supervising judge, okay? But during the period of time that I was supervising judge was when we were able to get a handle on it. And during that particular period of time, there was a working relationship with the courts, where between the police department and the courts, as far as putting programs out there that would reduce the gun violence and help the person. So we have to get back to that. We have to reduce the gun violence and help the person. Now, we go back to the court system. The court system is very important in reducing gun violence because every year we get like about 21,000 people that are arrested. The main reasons in Philadelphia, well, let's say like 15 to 25 to 35% of gun violence is caused through social media. Every person arrested in Philadelphia, what the courts would do, we would give them a social media ban and a curfew. Okay, so a person would have to be in by 9 at night, 6 in the morning to 9 at night, unless they have a job. Okay, if they have a job, of course we coordinate to make sure that a person would be able to get their job. We have to put them in a position that once they go through the system, they can be successful going on because their families need them. We need them. We need them to talk to their children so that their children don't become like they were. Okay, so we're going to give them job counseling, anger management counseling, crises counseling, PTSD.
I want to cite some data at you from the Philly Controller's Office. The perpetrator that is most likely to commit an act of gun violence is a Black man between the ages of 18 and 30-year-olds. How do you compel a system to be rehabilitative towards a population that often only sees the punitive aspect of its operation? How you would mend that sense of distrust between the judicial system and the community, which I think is worlds apart.
You mean the judicial or the police? Or both, all three? Yeah, okay. So this is what we do. We put a buffer there. We put a buffer similar to, it's called a community coach. And it's similar to what they do in the Netherlands. The coaches, they are trained in crises management, post-traumatic stress disorders, mental health disorders, the type of skills that they would need. And rather than call out police, we call out the community coach for non-criminal matters. So now we have a group where the police are able to do what the police do, and we have a group that does what the community needs to have done without the mistrust that goes along with every time you call. If you call the police, if a person has a mental health issue, the police don't know whether or not what to do, and next thing you know, the person is dead.
Is this a mental health professional, counselor?
That would be part of it. They would be cross-trained in a lot of areas, because they would be dealing with what normally takes place in communities on non-criminal matters, how to diffuse situations. So the police will take all action based on what the community coach tells them to take. So if the community coach tells the police, stand down, stand back, the police have to take that instruction, even if the person has a knife. Okay, it is not for the police to make a determination that it's a police activity and they have to move in. But that's what we have to do here in Philly, because you're right. We have to build up the trust between the courts, the community, and the police.